What is going on, guys? This is the Walkthrough King, and here is my guide to completing the Super Easter Egg boss fight. For those of you who don't know how to get here, all you have to do is just complete all of the Easter eggs, and then you will unlock Director's Cut mode. Once you have Director's Cut mode unlocked, just go ahead and complete all of the Easter eggs again, and when you complete Beast from Beyond, you will be sent to the Super Easter Egg boss fight. Let's talk about a couple of things to note before going into the boss fight. Remember, you do get 5 minutes before going into the boss fight so that you can hit the box and try and prepare then as well, but I do recommend fully preparing yourself before you even get into this zone, because if you don't get what you want out of the box in the 5 minutes that you have, that could be detrimental and ruin things in your run, so you just want to make sure that you're fully set up before going in. A couple of weapons that I can recommend would be good taking in are the VPR, the Kendalls, the Venom, or the FHR. Other weapons may be good as well, like the Mauler, but these were just the 4 weapons that I usually tried to go in with and found success with. As far as Fate and Fortune cards go, I usually took in either 2 Team, Rising Phoenix, Reanimated, Twist of Fate, Stimulus, and Ammo Crate. There may also be other good Fate and Fortune cards to take in, but those were usually what I went in with. During the boss fight itself, if you go in co-op, make sure to stay spread out. You don't want people bunched up together, as when he does his attacks, if you get hit by it, it's a pretty much instant down depending on the attack, and if you're bunched up, that could mean multiple people go down, which could really complicate things. If people do go down, make sure only one person goes in for the revive and the rest stay spread out, as you, again, don't want multiple people going down trying for the revive. And make sure to only revive when you have a chance. There is an infinite revive timer in this area, so if you can't revive them right away, don't rush it. Just try and have patience and work through it as slowly as possible and safely as possible. You also want to keep an eye out for his attacks as he's doing them and try and call out attacks for other people that you're playing with. And finally, make sure that the board is cleared pretty often. You don't want to have random enemies running around getting in your way and downing you while you're also trying to do the other objectives. And lastly, since you do have to do the Beast from Beyond Easter egg to get here, and that could take 45 minutes to an hour to accomplish, maybe even longer, I would recommend using the full 5 minutes that you get before you're going into the boss fight to take time to do whatever you need to do. Run and grab a drink, run to the bathroom, etc. Unless you are fully set up and ready to go, then everybody could go ahead and run up to the timer and all hold square or the action button on your platform. And once you do that, it'll immediately send you into the cutscene and send you straight into the boss fight. I also forgot to mention, but make sure to also refill your Fate and Fortune card deck before going into the boss fight. Unless you have all the cards that you want to use already ready to go, then I guess you don't have to do that. Once inside the boss fight area, take note that a max ammo will spawn every now and then in the middle. Use that wisely and don't just grab it just for the sake of grabbing it. Now this is phase 1 of the boss fight. There are 2 phases to fully complete this Super Easter egg. For the first phase, you'll notice that there are 5 symbols on the ground around the main circle in the middle. What you want to do is have one person go in and start charging that symbol. You can only be charging one symbol at a time. When you are out of that circle, it does uncharge, and it does uncharge pretty fast, so you want to make sure that one person's always in the symbol at all times while it's charging. You also don't want to die inside that symbol, so make sure to be watching out for the boss, and if he's sending in his attacks, try and get out of there right away and then get back into the circle. That way you don't go down, and you can also keep the circle still charging up and make sure that it doesn't decharge immediately. Make sure to clear the board for the person charging. You don't want a bunch of enemies running up on him, as it will be kind of hard to fully defend yourself when you have to stand in that circle. Once you fully charge up the circle, a bunch of souls will start coming out of it. At this point, whoever's standing in the circle to charge it doesn't have to stand there anymore and can now run around freely. What you want to do for this part is use the Entangler to grab these souls and shoot the symbol that you charged up that's on him. He has a bunch of the same symbols that are on the ground on him throughout his shoulders and his chest. Just go ahead and hit the souls on him of the one that you charged up, and after hitting him so many times successfully with that, he will then go into the middle of the map. You will know if you hit that spot successfully, as you will get a hit marker. For this, I recommend having 1 or 2 people do the soul part and the other 2 people clear the board if you are in a 4-player co-op match. If you have less players, I would try and just have 1 or 2 people shoot the souls at them and then 1 or 2 people clear the board. And if it's just solo, I would try and clear the board as much as possible and taking shots when you get a chance to take them. Again, remember that you don't want to take chances, so just take your time, and if people go down, try and worry about them when the board is cleared, and don't just rush in for the revive. Once the boss is in the middle and you have shot all the necessary souls at him, the symbol that you were shooting the souls at, which is the same one that you charged up, will now have a blue spot over it. You just want to go ahead and shoot that a bunch of times. I would recommend shooting it with the Kendalls. If you do not successfully shoot it as many times to damage him that you need to, you just have to reshoot it with the souls and redo that part until you get it successfully. Once you do complete it successfully though, he will go outside of the map and be hovering in the same area, and he will spawn in enemies. With each symbol that you charge up, you have to charge up all 5 and do this. There will be harder and harder enemies that come during this time. But do note that if you save 1 single skeleton during this spot, you can train him around and he will not attack you. The main boss will not attack you. And you could have people go and take a quick break if you need to. Once you are ready to go on to start charging up the next symbol, go ahead and kill the last zombie, and then a meteor shower will start. Just go ahead and hide behind one of the 2 pillars and you should survive the meteor shower every time. With each symbol that you complete, he will gain stronger attacks, and in the phase where you just have to defend from enemies, there will be harder and harder enemies that come at you. Now let's quickly go over his attacks. In the beginning, when you don't have any symbols charged up, he usually only does 1 or 2 of his attacks, and as you charge each circle, he will get the stronger attacks. Like I said, he'll only get 1 new attack every time you do a symbol. The different attacks that he can do are a black hole, where he basically just throws a black hole into the middle of the map. What you want to do to get away from that is just run away, and jumping also really helps to try and jump out of that. Another one of his attacks are the Super Slam, where basically he just goes into the middle of the map and slams down. To avoid that, you just go behind one of the pillars and you should survive it every time. He also has a Fire Tornado attack, where basically in the middle he spawns up this giant fire tornado that breaks off into a bunch of different fire tornadoes. You just want to avoid touching that fire tornado as it's coming towards you, and after it disappears you should be good to go. He has a lava wall attack as well, where basically wherever he's at, he will shoot a wall across and it will split the map in 2. Touching the lava wall will kill you. It stays up just for a short little while and then it goes away, so you are free to go to the other side of the map then. He has a attack where he just throws a bunch of fireballs at you. You just want to try and run away as quickly as possible. You could survive, I think, 1 fireball, maybe 2, but afterwards you will go down for sure. He has a Fire Breath attack, where basically he goes across the middle of the map from wherever he started at, and as he's going across, he's breathing fire down. Just run out of his way when you can, and you should survive this. Finally, he also has a Meteor Strike attack, where he throws a giant meteor wherever he's looking, and you just want to avoid that as well. Get out of that area and you should survive it as well. Those are all the different attacks that he does during Phase 1. And like I said, as you complete each circle and talisman, he will gain a new attack. And on the 5th talisman, be aware that when you complete it, it just immediately sends you into Phase 2. There is no secondary mini phase where he spawns in enemies, so you can't take a break after you complete the 5th and final circle that you need to charge. Now we are on to Phase 2 of the guide. And in Phase 2, all of the enemies are able to be spawned into the map. This includes rhinos, all of the cryptids, and the slasher, including zombies. So be aware of that and try to keep the board as clear as possible. Mephistopheles will have every single one of his attacks unlocked and ready to be used. As well as there will be random meteor showers also happening during this, so you have to watch out for that. Now, how to complete Phase 2 is you just want to shoot Mephistopheles' symbols that are on his chest, the same ones that you charged up, and as you hit them enough times, they will turn white on the board and the talisman will be floating above it. All you have to do is shoot him enough so that you charge up all 5 talismans and so that all 5 talismans are floating. I would recommend shooting the symbols on him with the Kendals, as the splash damage can also affect the other symbols. This way you can charge more than one symbol at once while shooting him and possibly do this step a little bit faster. Be extremely careful in this part and take your time. With how many enemies are spawning in and with how powerful they are, you really do want to keep the board cleared, or keep it as cleared as possible during this phase. In co-op, if people start going down, don't try and focus Mephistopheles again. Just try and keep the board cleared and try and help out with revives and go in for revives. Staying away from each other as much as possible so that you guys aren't all bunched up and that you don't get trapped by the enemies or don't all get one hit by one of Mephistopheles' attacks. A couple of good strategies that help keep the board cleared and also help charge up the symbols faster are using the Twist of Fate card to have a tornado going around the map and helping clear up enemies. If you have multiple people in the game with 2 team, using that and going into the middle and just focusing Mephistopheles as symbols also helps get them charged up faster. That was one strategy that you could see us use. So once you have hit each symbol on his chest enough times to charge it up on the board, and all 5 talismans are floating and charged up on the board, what you want to do is go and activate each one. You could do this by just running into it and holding square, or the action button if you're on a different platform than PlayStation. When all 5 talismans are activated, lasers will bring Mephistopheles into the middle of the map. There will be no more enemies on the map. It will clear them all out. Make sure everybody focuses shooting Mephistopheles symbols on him with Kendals or something else that is extremely powerful, but I would really recommend using the Kendals for the extra splash damage effect. Just keep focusing Mephistopheles here and have everybody shoot at him, and you should kill him and complete this every single time. If you do not do enough damage to him, however, during this step and he gets away, it will instantly end the game, so just be aware of that. But yeah, after you shoot him enough times and you do enough damage to him, you do kill him, and that is the Super Easter Egg boss fight. It will instantly end the game after you watch the nice cutscene that you get to see. And you will now be able to play as Willard Wyler on Zombie in Spaceland and unlock the secret calling cards for doing this. Let me know in the comments if this guide helped you out and if you have completed the Super Easter Egg boss fight. Also, feel free to ask for more help if there's something that I didn't go in depth on enough. If this guide ended up helping you and you enjoyed watching this video, a like would be appreciated. As well as if you do enjoy the content that I put out and you want to help support me, a subscription would also be appreciated. This guide took quite a long time in order to put together, so I hope it helps you out and you enjoy it. As always, I am TheWalkthroughKing, and I hope to see you guys at the next one.